All right, cyber traders, welcome on back here this Monday, March 22nd, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. Welcome on back here for our afternoon meeting. Sound should be good to go across both ends, across our live trading room. Great to see Ken, Mario, who was cleaning up just earlier, Leda, Philip, Bonnie, all of our students joining us live in our trading room. And alongside them, all of our members joining us on social media, Facebook Live and YouTube. Welcome on back. Let's hop right into the thick of things, folks. We have class right on ahead, so I want to make sure we have enough time just to prep and get ready for class, but I want to go from top to bottom across the gainers and losers list here right now. So great to see everybody. Let's hop to it. We have the Mavis trade up like 10+%, just about 11% almost heading into the afternoon. You know, just recently broke above resistance off of 19. Looks like it was holding pretty well in the chart just a moment ago. And then off the initial breakout, we ended up seeing, let's just take a look. Yeah, by far the biggest spike of volume across the whole day on this Mavis trade. So, you know, that's all of the buying just came in off that breakout off 19. So it wouldn't shock me if it ends up kind of pulling back down before it ends up making the better move later on today. But easy enough. We're just going to put this on our main list. I don't know what the news is, folks. I normally would have time just to check it out, but just I want to make sure all of our students inside the Phase 2 course are ready. I want to make sure I'm ready. So we're going to go from top to bottom now. We have the SPRT, though. And I should have just said, I thought I said this, but Mavis, we're going to put on our main list here, of course, right? It also is shortable if it does crap out the other way by any means. Like, even if it breaks under 19 here at first, I wouldn't be that bearish on it. I wouldn't try and short it off the first break. Wait for the second break if it makes a lower high. But anyway, going back from top to bottom here, the SPRT trade up over 200% right now. It was up a lot more than this, at least in pre-market. It was holding off 9 resistance pretty well heading into the market open. But, you know, although we would expect this stock to make a pullback after the market opens, we were still hopeful to see it make a higher low, a push up to break a higher high later on. So we ended up seeing that, but man, the volume crapped out on this thing rather quick off that pop. So really quickly here, we'll just go to this pretty quickly here. You can see the break from 8, the pop, then break. But then it ended up making this huge slingshot type move off of what appears to be like 650-ish, then, you know, right through 7. But, you know, after this failed to make a clean break over the pre-market high, I mean, just, you know, I think it even closed above resistance off of 9. I mean, I just say this for any of our students live inside our trading room and for all of us in social media that, you know, tend to focus more on the open and closes of prices on the charts. That's not all there is to it. There's a lot more to that. And it's just to say, if this fails to hold over 9 and make a bigger pop right away after, there's only one other way the stock's going to go. So that's not worth it for you to try and, you know, hold on for hope to see it make a new move back up, because obviously that is yet to happen. I guess it kind of tried to happen here, that second wind type of move, but we know what happens, you know, on something like this after the initial pop, drop, and then just, you know, the stock's trading over almost 250 million shares today. Trades 151,000 shares on average the 50 days prior to today. So I think that speaks for itself. But then you got some stocks that are holding pretty strong at the highs, like this JFIN trade here. This is normally, I think, let me just make sure, but pretty certain this is a very low float type of stock. 25 million. We've traded much lower. It's still pretty low, but, you know, nonetheless, though, either way, we ended up seeing this stock make like an explosion shortly after 10 o'clock Eastern time from 8. Got halted on the way up. Ended up making a few shakes. I want to zoom in just to see. Did this stock ever get halted on the way down? You folks know my stance on like stocks getting halted on the way down. That's usually a wrap. This stock did not get halted on the way down. It ended up obviously making the pop up later on, pushing up to break higher now. So yeah, I mean, we'll see where this takes us. It still wouldn't shock me to, you know, see this make like higher lows and still build a trend heading into the afternoon. It's making a hell of a move right now on the way up to 13. You have a 32,000 share order on the S currently sitting there roughly. I would expect that to hold the first time, so to say. Saw this stock back on Thursday of last week, ended up making a big pop from 5 all the way up to whatever price this is, was like 1360 topped off at. Well, ended up dropping right back down below 10 and then got crushed the following day. So we didn't necessarily expect this stock to land up 55+% again this morning, but we'll see where it takes us right now heading into the afternoon. Again, I would expect a false breakout the first time this would test 13. All right, we got the TCAT trade. This thing just keeps on flying up as well. The spread on this is just so ugly. So, you know, I'll just be very blunt and say this. I would hope that most of our students joining us live inside our room right now are going to be joining me in class later on today. But for those of us not, no problem. But if you're not a level 4 or 5 trader, hey, it's your gamble because this thing's up so much over the last 3-4 days. So again, we weren't necessarily expecting this to make the type of move that you're seeing here. It wouldn't have shocked us if it ended up making like a nice little pop or run like it did from the mid to late morning. But at this point, the stock's up 53% just from Friday's close, and just dating back to this time last week, it was a $5 stock. So be careful, trade this at your own risk. If you're a level 4 or 5 trader, you have a much better idea as far as what levels to watch on a trade like this. But yeah, either way, we're going to put this on our watch list, the TCAT. If you don't want to trade the TCAT, then there are stocks that move with this that probably have much better liquidity. I know that Rich L in our trading room has been going over that with you folks. The YVR pushing up pretty nicely, another NFT type of stock. OCG, if not mistaken. This one's starting to get a bit of a wacky spread, but a little bit better than the TCAT trade there. And of course, at the same time too, they're much less expensive. So put the TCAT, the YVR, the OCG, and if there's any others out there, I'm sure Rich will type it in there. But we'll keep going from top to bottom. I know the ZKIN trade's another like blockchain affiliated stock. We'll just check that out in a moment. I got RCON still pushing up nicely. I don't know if this is joining those as well, but holding a really strong trend heading into the afternoon. I mean, trend off the lows here, and then it's just right back to the highs of the day. So easy enough to just put this on our list here, the RCON stock. I want to have a quick idea here. Yeah, the float, let's see. Oof, yeah, now we're starting to get pretty low with the float. RCON of 4.76 mil. We have one here, SUMR. I'm probably not going to put on our watch list. Just want to check it out for fun. Just super spotty chart, looking very flat. So we're not going to put this on our list, but this is even less of a float, 1.65 mil. So it's just to say it's going to be much more difficult to try and get out of a stock that has a lower float, especially if it has a fluctuating wide spread and order book. You're not going to get the price that you want to get filled at. All right, so this Hall of Fame stock, pretty interesting. You see a trend line actually sticking up there on the 1 minute. That was dating back to Friday's chart. So you know what? I forgot about that, believe it or not. Let's take a quick look. Well, if you look at that, So if you guys recall, as you can see here on the Hall of Fame stock from Friday morning heading into really the whole day, ended up building this trend off these highs perfectly. And then just now, I totally forgot about this. That's crazy. I didn't have this up on my other monitor, my main trading platform that I trade off of. I didn't have that up on that one. So pretty interesting to see that, for what it's worth, this ended up continuing to push up again today, practically held the trend line, a false breakout, you might call it, but ended up coming right back down. Pretty interesting to see. Yeah, I mean, for right now, Hall of Fame remains a great sideless stock. I think just trading 200+ million shares, pretty tired for today. If you do well on this stock and have done well from today and Friday, then it wouldn't hurt you to watch it. I just think that there's going to be better moves to take than that so far for this afternoon. MRKR, it's choppy. This thing is just, I mean, a slowpoke. I don't mind slowpokes, but this is just like a jigsaw, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, and just. It's tough to read. So unless if you're looking for a breakout over said top here, we were more focused on the resistance, the whole number level off of 3, at least from pre-market, and give us a tough time from there. So, I'll put it on our side list. If it ends up making the pop, I'm sure Rich will call it out for you folks, but I think that we'll find better. Hopefully we'll find better. Got the Dow pushing up nicely here heading into this afternoon. So I wanted to talk about that actually at the top of the meeting, but with class ahead, I just figured get to it at some point. We have the Dow that's pretty much right at like consolidation or resistance, I should say, from Friday's trading. So hopefully that makes a nice squeeze up higher. The ORMP trade from earlier, nice steady trend, but pretty thin order book. Damn, Upstart. Are you kidding me? From Thursday's trading, we saw this at this time in the afternoon. We were saying, well, for a pretty expensive stock, that's like a pretty impressive jump up. It was like a 95% gain that time Thursday afternoon. And holy crap, you take your eyes off a stock for a couple of days and it keeps going like this. An extra like 40% jump up basically from where we left off with it on Thursday at least. But yeah, I mean, hey, if you're holding this as a swing, congratulations first and foremost there. But otherwise, we're not going to day trade a $149 stock on like a 60-cent spread. Oh, the WKEY trade. This is the other one that I think is, I don't know, it's NFT related, but blockchain related, I believe. This ended up making a huge pop at the time. And with a huge pop came a lot of volume getting filled off the first two bars there as it popped from like 1050-ish up towards just about 1250. Ended up making a high of the day off 1358. And I guess you could say building support roughly off of 1220-ish, just whatever those lows are on the chart there. Right here. And for the meantime, it's still kind of holding near 13. So I don't mind putting this on our main watch list, just given what we saw from this stock late last week on Thursday. I guess this is another one affiliated with Bitcoin or blockchain, perhaps. But for right now, looking pretty strong, at least still building up nicely off the lows. All right, let's see what else we got. The watt trade was popped and then halted earlier. Just kind of dudded back down there for now. Not really too impressed by that. The HIMX semiconductor stock, if I'm not mistaken, ended up making a nice choppy move, but steady trend off the lows from earlier today and still kind of holding nicely near the high. So I'll put this on our side list perhaps. It's like kind of slow for a $14, $15 stock, but I'll reconsider it in just about 5 or so minutes. All right, current time 2:41, making pretty good on time actually. So let's just keep going down here. The LIVX I called out earlier off the morning pop. Not a whole lot going on there now. All right, let's hop over to the losers list, folks. I want to jump to one other stock in just a moment, but we'll get to that once we're done with this. The ODT trade. This is like, we're going to put this on our watch list. Just given the name watch list doesn't mean that we're going to force ourselves to trade this stock. I would say that just trading 21.9 million shares when this stock normally trades on average like, well, before today, 338,000 shares on average. So, very heavily traded, similar to the SPRT trade. I believe this is all-time lows, and the stock is still shortable from TradeStation. So, should this begin to break lower here, this could be a pretty interesting opportunity. That said, just want to let you folks know, I'm currently long on this stock right now from $4. I have a stop set underneath me here at 393, if I'm not mistaken. Just double check here. Down a few cents. Yeah, 393 I have my stop set at. So I was hopeful from earlier with this kind of breaking my downtrend line that I had for this to begin to make a nice dead cat bounce. It's down like 79% still at this point in the day. So I was hopeful for that. It obviously hasn't happened yet. So my stop is set. If this probably breaks below 395 in this 36,000 share order, I'll probably get stopped out. But I don't mind putting this on our watch list just in case if this decides to wake up a lot more with it down as much as it is. So either way, it provides good opportunity. The worst thing for this to do is just make like a sideways type of move where it just doesn't break higher or lower. Either way, should it even do that, I'll be really interested in following this stock tomorrow and Wednesday this week. So for the majority of this week, I'll likely be watching this and trading it. And alongside this, man, the RLX stock, I did pretty well on this trade from earlier. I missed like the perfect short opportunity at the market open. I ended up making some money on it later on the short, then on the long a little bit. But hey, this stock ended up making a huge drop in pre-market. News came out. I think it was China government regulation on e-cigarette type products, and that obviously affected this trade. So we ended up seeing them just move up after the market opened, a small little squeak up towards 1350-ish and then pulled back down. So yeah, same thing with this as I had said before in the other. This one's a new IPO also. That's the difference between that and the ODT perhaps there. But otherwise, trading almost 100 million shares on the day, very heavily traded otherwise. It's near the lows. I'll put it on our watch list. Doesn't mean that we're going to trade it, but if this decides to wake up heading into the final 30 minutes or 45 minutes of the day, then we'll look to call it out from there. All right, so let's keep it going, folks. I might get stopped out actually in just a moment on the ODT trade. We'll see. Keep it folks posted on that as I continue to go through. SBTX, the low of the day, shortable. Big spread. Lizzie, for as much as this popped last week and the week before, perhaps even, I don't know if bad news came out or a downgrade or whatever the case, but maybe we'll just attribute it to profit taking. I normally would have the chance to check Benzinga Pro, but not right now, just with class ahead here. So either way, it just goes to show we don't need to follow the news in order to follow the stock. This ended up providing little to no buying opportunity as it held a steady downtrend, ended up just dropping off perfectly throughout the mid-morning into the afternoon. So maybe at this point now it's down like 15+%, 17% even. Maybe you can make a squeeze up. It's tradable in that sense, but we'll see if there's anything looking like even more opportunistic. Can down 11+% at the lows of the day right now. I don't have my Bitcoin chart up even. Let me just check from my phone. I'll give you a from the iPhone update on Bitcoin. I'll be back tomorrow with my normal Bitcoin shenanigans, perhaps. But yeah, the last 15 to 30 minutes, Bitcoin's dropped about like 500 points. I mean, that's not tremendous, but over the last hour or so prior to that, it wasn't doing a whole lot. So, at least for right now, Can's at the low of the day. Perhaps that will move lower now at this point. But yeah, I'll put this on our watch list. We're familiar with this stock, and if it doesn't break lower, then perhaps it'll provide a dead cat bounce type of opportunity. Mara, just that one's very volatile in terms of a day trade. Spreads are a little wide on that, and Riot even more. So those two I'm not too keen to put on our watch list, but the Can trade definitely keep a good eye on. That's pretty strong on the way down in terms of its downtrend. EBO, another sideless stock that I personally love. Not a whole lot to write home about, perhaps I'll say there. Good sideless stock, like I just said. So probably tomorrow I'll check back in on it. All right, folks. I think that just about does it for myself here. And it's funny because every time I say that, and should I find something on my own, it usually ends up making the list. So AMC, let's see what this thing is doing. It's not really doing that much right now. It was a great short from earlier on today, as you can see. Ended up breaking down instantly after the market opened, ended up pulling back up and then dropping back down. So that's where I said really good short opportunity from earlier today on AMC, but not a whole lot there. Just, squeak back up in the late morning, early afternoon, but not a whole lot going on. So I saw JetBlue. This was the stock I wanted to talk about here. I don't know what the news is on this stock right now. Again, I don't have the time to check. We have class coming up very shortly from right now, but this stock was at the low of the day. It was down 8+% heading into this meeting, and I was like looking at the Dow and the S&P, and markets are moving up. Airlines are, or at least going into 2 o'clock, they were kind of flat, and now it's starting to drop off a little bit, the airlines ETF. So it looks like JetBlue came out with company-specific news. I don't know what it is, maybe a downgrade perhaps, but Michael says they're short on pilots. Oof, all right. So I guess that's the news there. But with that in mind, near the lows right now, heading into the afternoon, it is shortable. It's like kind of slower moving. So, if the markets really want to crap out later on, then that could provide a better opportunity on the short for this trade. Just one to watch heading into the afternoon near its lows. I don't mind slipping this on here at the end. All right, folks. So for all of us on YouTube, Facebook Live, let me know if there's anything that you would want me to look at here. If you didn't have a chance to see any of the stocks that you wanted to look at, if you didn't see anything that I reviewed that you want to look at, then type it in the chat board. Mike says SPWR a double top at 35 bucks. It's up 9+%. Wow, this one kind of flew under the radar. No pun intended, but yeah, I guess it wasn't like near the top 50. It's probably like 51, Mike. This SPWR trade looking pretty good. I like this. We'll add this to our main list. Now, at the same time as I say that, though, I don't want to put every stock that might be moving with the market higher heading into the afternoon. So that SPWR looks awesome. The fuel cell trade made a nice pop heading into the early afternoon. I'm not going to put this on our main list now. It just looks a little bit weaker. But yeah, for now, that SPWR looking pretty good. Plug just slow, choppy. I think SPWR is better setup at least. Check out the HIMX trades. So I said I would come back to this at the end. I don't mind slipping this on our list as well. Maybe I knock JetBlue off our list here at this point because we have a pretty big list. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, and then 12 making, or 12 with the JetBlue trade. JetBlue is kind of choppy there. It seemed pretty slow, at least. This is really choppy. If this ends up breaking above high of the day, or at least off the consolidation from 305, 310-ish there, then we'll look to call it out. I think for right now, we'll add the HIMX to our main watch list. We'll actually scratch off the JetBlue. I don't like to put too many stocks on our watch list. So, out of this entire list, folks, I mean, personally, if I wasn't teaching this class coming up and if I was, really trading, I would just focus on maybe 2 or 3 stocks from this list just to begin. That will set you up for a really good opportunity, at least on one of those 3, to give you a better chance to follow one of those 3, at least capitalize on those. But outside of that, if there's nothing of those 2 or 3 that you would look to watch from this list, then check to see what's in the chat board, then check to see what's out there on your scanners, your radar screens, and everything else heading into the final hour, heading into the afternoon. All right, so for all of us on Facebook Live, YouTube, make sure that you smash the like, subscribe, notify buttons right on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/cybertradingu. And then if you've yet to join us live inside our trading room, feel free to do that. Go right down to the link on the banner below. Talking a little too fast there. Just combine the words link and banner to make the word bink. Click the link on the banner below to sign up for our trading room right there. And for all of our students live inside our chat room joining me in class, I look forward to seeing you folks there soon. Take care.